what I really want to talk about is 714 entering the pro game.
Yeah.
This patch, or sorry, this week.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff, but we're going to try and break it down into some smaller sections. Tank junglers is what I want to start with.
Yep.
Because that's what I am most familiar with. I play the most of them. And I think they're even more likely to be seen because of lethality and because of how good tanks can be against lethality. So Cho'Gath received some massive buffs. He is fairly easy to play around from a pro perspective, but I think he's so objectively powerful that we'll see him. But Maokai and Sej are things that I think should be close to dominating the league if the pros have put enough time onto tanks and are quick enough to turn around their playstyles. Because power-wise, I think they're there.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're really strong. Cho'Gath, like, I can see people not wanting to play it in pro simply because the Q is like so unreliable against people who are actually good at avoiding it and good at dodging and stuff. It's like that's one frustration I can see with it, and a lot of players getting really annoyed by that. Whereas Maokai and Sejuani, like, they don't really have the same issues. Like, this CC is so easy to put on. Like, I've even been playing a fair bit of Maokai top, and I think it's incredibly strong top as well. So, like, these champions are just objectively very, very strong. I think that we will be seeing them in pro play. Cho'Gath, I'm not sure. Like, if someone has put in time, then yeah.
Yeah.
But I could see people getting frustrated and just giving them up.
Yeah, we already saw a little bit of Mao and Sej last week, and it didn't even have a huge amount of effectiveness, but just paying attention to high elo, NA solo queue, I think it's coming into the NA LCS.
Yep.
Specifically, one of the big problems for tank junglers in the past was the warrior junglers would just build longswords, clear the jungle faster, and beat you. But when Bombi Cinder is 900 gold, we talked about this beforehand, you clear so much faster, not to mention the mana increase on the item. These are the champions that it helps the most. On top of that, Bramble Vest, not Thornmail, is still a pretty good item if you're over-indexed on AD.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so talking about the champions getting played, I agree, Cho'Gath's insane. I think we should see him. I think if junglers haven't tried to learn the champion at all, I think it's a mistake. You might not find that it's good, but not trying, I think, is kind of not forgivable. Sejuani got like 6 picks in the LCK last, this week. 713 had 6 Sejuani picks in a Sejuani ban already in the LCK. So, like,
and
clearly we're seeing her.
Sejuani was being played top a while ago when it first got all those buffs.
Right.
And it was being played jungle. Like, people should have played some Sejuani on the updated patch.
Yeah, the champion's clearly playable. I agree. I think tank junglers are in for sure. I think Duskblade is definitely in. Worth pointing out that the 714 is with hot fixes in. So, like, Duskblade got some damage off on the passive. It's like a 10% damage hit mid-game. It's not huge. There was like some minor nerfs to Singed and Nunu in there as well because those champions are kind of over too.
Well, the Nunu ones I don't think were that minor. I actually think that Nunu's win rate actually went down quite a lot.
Yeah, it was quite a bit. He lost a lot of health.
Yeah.
Well, let's predict then as far as lethality. What will lethality do to the pick ban? Is Zed coming back? Are we seeing Jhin and Varus again?
We're seeing Jhin 100%. I think Jhin is going to be the top AD. Like, people are already playing him a lot. I think Jhin, people may be picking even like over Caitlyn and stuff. Like, I think that's going to be.
Well, Caitlyn got nerfed. I think Caitlyn should not be a top 3 bot laner anymore.
Yeah. So I think Jhin is like.
I think she will. I mean, this is just
her sieging strength is so good, and her lane bullying is still so good. Like, I still think people want Caitlyn for different reasons.
Sure.
But like, I think Jhin for sure is up there. I think that like we certainly could see some players, guys like High and stuff, playing Talon, because I actually think that like. The extra damage that Talon has now with Duskblade is pretty absurd. I think you can certainly see picks like that, but I don't think we're going to see it everywhere. I think it's in general like more of a solo queue thing, like picks that aren't played a lot in LCS, things like Quinn and stuff. I think are insane with new lethality.
Misfortune.
Yeah. MF could be seen.
You might see Altec play it or something.
Sneaky plays it a lot in solo queue as well. Like if they think that it's workable, like I could certainly see that being brought out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Kalista was the number 2 bot laner presence in pro playing 713. I think she remains a top 3 champion. Xayah was number 3. I think she remains top 3. I don't think Jhin goes from 10% to number 1. Like, I don't think Duskblade is. I mean, it's obviously very good. It buffs him. I think he goes above 10% presence, but I don't personally think he's like suddenly the best because keep in mind, tank busting matters, right? If you're playing a Maokai and a Gargoyle, Stoneplate, Thornmail, like Jarvan in the top lane, like you don't win games if you're playing Jhin. Like if you blind pick Jhin in solo queue and they're like Rammus, Zac, Sejuani, you're like, okay, we lost the game.
Yeah, and they Galio J4 again.
Unless you have like Cassio and like people who can shred tanks and stuff.
Hey, maybe that changes the metagame further, but like you're never gonna see Jhin Assassin the same team. You instantly lose a double tank. Like I should never see that without like the jungler and top laner showing already.
Ever see that? Never. No, we're heading back into game 3 now of FlyQuest versus Immortals. A little bit of the tank talk from you guys on the dive, and we have seen the tanks. They are in the meta in the play.
Yeah, and we wonder if Immortals is going to be able to do the same ban strategy on red side now that they did on blue side, because they banned out the Cho'Gath and the Maokai and played Jhin, because that's what you want. If you're going to be able to play Jhin, you can't be playing against the super tanks. That changes the complexion a little bit when they move back over to red side on the third game of the series.
FlyQuest going back to comfort picks for themselves. So we'll have to see if actually one of those is back to the Cho'Gath for Moon. It wasn't huge for him in the beginning. His feast stacks weren't going on champions. They were actually just short of the kills. And then he actually only had a few of the minion ones. So keep an eye on that if they decide to play it. It still actually brought them to quite a victory once he became the front line they needed.
Yeah. Talking with pro teams as well, when there are a lot of perceived OP picks, blue side becomes even stronger, because in theory, you want to say like, oh, you get one and then you can trade the other ones over. But oftentimes there's just things that counter other things. So if you're in a world where Caitlyn and Kalista are the top tier AD carry picks, if you ban Caitlyn, they get Kalista and there's no counter. If you ban neither, Caitlyn is better than Kalista in the laning phase and the blue side would win anyway, as a cogent example of that happening. Here though, you can see the Cho'Gath being banned out, maybe the Maokai being banned out, which would leave over Caitlyn for them. They would be generally okay with that if that happens. And with that, I hope we see a first pick Maokai actually, now that they've decided to ban the Caitlyn. We'll see.
Well, it could be their flex if they really wanted to.
I feel like FlyQuest is pretty quick to adapt to these things. Balls has played a ton of Maokai in the past. I think Moon will have played it because he plays almost everything in solo.
Ooh, Jhin.
This is a bit of a gamble here. So we know that Immortals
still getting one of something.
They might get both, is what I think the gamble
that's
is.
true. That is true.
Because Immortals banned out Maokai last game, so FlyQuest is saying that Immortals isn't going to play it, and that they can get it later.
There's one. Gragas locked in, mainly for Xmithie and what we would think at this point. And they're actually going to take the Kalista, so the AD carries match. And now it's the side of FlyQuest.
Yeah, so still a very strong bottom lane pick for Cody Sun. They paired it with Kennen in the first game, fell off heavily in the late game. What will FlyQuest pick to round out their team composition? Xmithie's Jarvan was pretty good last game. Gragas is locked in, can go top or jungle. Most likely jungle for Xmithie, though.
I remember as the players sometimes talk in the lobby chat, Moon was in his Rek'Sai games. He's like, I just kind of want to play J4 in the jungle all the time. He's going to feel pretty good. He's going to feel pretty good about this pick. He loves flying around in Cataclysm, the opposing team. As well, Rumble locked in for balls on that top side. Comfort. Now, again, here for FlyQuest. See if Flame and the rest of the team go for that once more.
Yeah, I do have a question about the early Rumble pick, though. And I'm actually very surprised that Immortals didn't just pick Renekton right here. Because Renekton did so well against Rumble last game, and it's almost certainly going top lane for FlyQuest. Unless we see High pull out the mid lane Jarvan like he has in the past. Because now FlyQuest can ban Renekton in second phase to make Rumble's laning phase easier. This is weird too. The Blitzcrank ban from Immortals, do we really think LemonNation isn't playing Janna, Morg, or Sona? I don't. I think that Blitzcrank ban is wasted.
Renekton for Flame. I agree with you there. I was kind of trying to wrap my head around it. I was like, I have an answer. I don't even have.
They don't, nothing. I mean, the answer of why ban Blitz, they don't want to get hooked. that wasn't even going to be a thing. Janna ban, I think, was much more targeted.
All right, Janna, Talia, the final one. What do we have here? Could be a top laner. Could be a jungler. Probably going to be Flame. Please be Sion.
I would love that.
But it's really Kayn because he jumps out of him. Interesting, actually. Neither of these teams are really. We got like a Kayn hover maybe once, but they haven't really looked at him at all. A few teams a little more happy to play the new champion on the Rift. Kled getting locked in for Flame, so still bringing a lot of power to the lane in that pick.
Yeah, not something we've seen a bunch of out of Flame. He's got, 11 Renekton plays, only 3 Kled plays so far this split, but Renekton banned away, Jarvan taken away. There's his most played right out the window, pushing him to lesser known parts of his champion pool. And it seems like neither of these teams are willing to pull out the Maokai this game.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, you never know when there's a new patch because some people have slightly different reads on it. Even if they think it can be good, they haven't put enough games on it to feel comfortable. There's a chance they also don't think it's good as a pick.
No. Morgana locked in for LemonNation. Obviously still in his champion pool. He goes for 2 in a row on that one now. And it is going to be Pobelter's Corki getting locked in. Corki versus Orianna. Pretty good skill matchup to get things rolling in the mid lane. Changing it up for Flame on the top side now from Renekton to Kled. As FlyQuest keeping quite a bit of the same in their lineup, especially towards that bot side.
Yeah, and a little bit less CC in this team composition for Immortals. They don't have the Renekton Jarvan combo in the top lane, but still a lot of CC overall. Bard Kalista, great lockdown. A lot of times Bard can get the knockup from Fate's Call and then chain that with a Q stun up against the wall. We know Pobelter is very comfortable on Corki. He's really locked in this series, I feel like, as far as his performance. So I think Immortals will be happy with this draft, even though FlyQuest did control the Jhin. And Jhin has been victorious both games so far.
We'll have to see what happens heading into our final match. Hashtag FlyWin, hashtag IMT win. And remember, Immortals looking to face Counter Logic Gaming in their next matchup, as well as Dignitas before the end of the split. They have quite a few games to look at and prepare for. As we said, they're looking to get past FlyQuest here, who's already given them quite a bit of trouble. FlyQuest looking to lock down Game 3 and also catapult themselves from the middle of the standings up.
Yeah, Immortals looking to be the #1 team in the North American LCS. A win here keeps their tie with CLG at the top of the standings.
And we are on to the Rift. Let's see what they have off of Summoner's Fountain. We're gonna get evened up lanes. I'm waiting for the meta we get back when we send like 80 carry bot mid again for a portion of the lane or something. Just a quick switch. Why not?
Yeah.
Make it happen. No
So
more
rare.
gentleman's laning agreement.
Yeah, bottom turret dies so fast if you have a 2v1 or 3v1 down there.
Summoner's Rift.
Sends people down there very quickly. Xmithie really loves those Fnatic skins. Played Fnatic
30
J4 last
seconds
game,
until minions
Fnatic
spawn.
Gragas this game.
Tribute to the first champions.
Yeah,
All the way back in Season 1.
2011.
It's long.
Pobelter was 12 at the time, I believe, or 13. Was one of the youngest
Yeah.
pro players ever. Pobelter, a veteran in the scene, still very young.
It's interesting too, because wasn't that Shushe
Minions have
on Gragas
spawned.
Yeah.
as well? For all the plays. AP Alistar. Half-healthing people. Good memories. A lot has changed since. And we'll see if these guys now have done their homework over the years. It seems to have been. This league puts them at a high caliber. Here we are, starting off at the bottom jungle camp as we get back into the game. And it looks like a little bit of pressure from Flame. Just giving the knowledge to say, yeah, they're bottom side. Maybe we can work off of this a little bit later.
Yeah, so a good pull that Moon gets on his red buff. Not much more you can ask for as a Jarvan, who generally clears slowly. He's running around the bottom side because he's trying to stay out of wards as much as possible, but just expecting him to probably clear Wolves and blue buff to get a level 3 gank path going on Jarvan.
Paulson and Flame apparently going very hard with those potions down on the top side right off the bat. I don't even think the minion wave had a chance to hit there. They just started fighting in it. So the way they want to take this one down, it seems like Flame may have gotten the worst for the wear there. Spall starts to push him off the minion wave to start things off.
Yeah, Flame has had Balls' number so far in the laning phase. Really just great performances by Immortals solo lanes so far this series.
Oh!
Nice bounces.
That's one hell of a lot of damage with the dead minions coming through, especially that ring to start off. That was top notch.
Yeah, getting the 4th bounce increases that bouncing grenade damage. And remember, he has an AP ratio on it, which is why the Doran's Ring can be good. A lot of Jhin's bringing AP blues as well. I think WildTurtle is doing that in this game, based on the fact that he has 30 AP.
Hasn't been too bad in CS, though. Looks pretty damaging, but they have weathered the storm. But a bit of sustain from Bard is great for the bouncing grenades in the tormented soil of this lane. Let's go ahead and continue to put down the shrines. Cody Sun can hop around. Minion wave about to crash, doubled up into the turret here, just about for Flame.
Yeah, pushing up without wards as well, so a pretty dangerous moment in the laning phase for him to do that, but gets away with it just fine. Gets his ward down.
Trade back and forth. Pobelter still going for that Foss Bomb level on this one, as we've seen, as we said, different before. And Moon to Krugs. Could have a little bit of an adventure down towards the bot side of the map. Looks like Turtle and Lemon will have it pushed up a little too far for that gank to happen. High warding top side, making sure he can play towards the bottom of his jungler.
Yeah, a very circular clear by Moon. Still leaving his Raptors up, but clearing pretty much every other camp. Both Scuttle Crabs, so Scuttle Crabs are one of the things that keeps his health high in the jungle. Going for the Cinder Hulk Jarvan, most likely. Farmed enough to have 900 gold, and there it is, yep. Picks up the Bomby Cinder.
Nice and easy. Xmithie back in. Blue buff almost wearing off. Bot lane control here from FlyQuest, but it looks like they're just consistently pushing in. They're saying, let's just let them work under the turret at this point. Once the wave pushes, they try to get extra damage down on and give LemonNation room for those dark bindings. So rinse and repeat here for FlyQuest in the bot side until they can start getting some summoners out of Cody Sun and Olleh. I mean, or the other way around. Both teams have a pretty good start to a fight.
Yeah, and at least early on, the laning phase is going pretty well for FlyQuest. They had fallen to 300 to 500 gold disadvantages in games 1 and 2 in the laning phase, so definitely doing better this time. They get a nice recall off for WildTurtle's Jhin. He gets his Sword of Dirk. I mean, even Moon had a very good recall timing to be able to pick up the early Bomby Cinder. It allows Jarvan to take Raptors easily, keeps him healthy during his clear. So, improvement for Game 3 for FlyQuest.
Money.
And Meeps.
Yeah, good little roam. Gotta keep roaming if Olleh wants to keep those Meeps stacked. Pretty awesome changes coming in for Bard as of late. He can do quite a bit of damage now with more Meeps in his pocket. What he's always wanted.
Yeah, Bard smacks you for insane amounts of damage sometimes. Hey.
Oh, he's gonna get smacked a little bit here.
And the 4th shot.
Lockdown, Deadly Flourish. The Ignite goes down, no flash forward. Takes a bit of damage as the binding connects. They're going to be able to make their worth of it on the turret here with a bit of damage.
The bouncing grenades really had to be sneaky with that juke, having no flash down. Olleh not wanting to give up this experience at the turret. His marksman's gone. He's just picking up a little bit of CS. Able to get away with it. Does burn his flash for the opponent Ignite. He's gonna say it's worth it. What does he want to buy?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Ball's like, I don't even want this to come away from the turret.
Gonna recall with 1,700 gold in his pocket.
Boots, gems, refillable potions. I love that we see the refillable potions always coming out. Like one of those 2nd or 3rd buys, we're like, well, this is just gonna be money coming back to me that I don't have to spend on single potions all the time.
Yeah.
See it so much more.
Refillable potion is just the go-to, seemingly, for everyone now.
Yeah.
No one likes spending that 50 gold per high potion. Just give me 150 one time. Use it for the rest of the game.
Got him. Ward control from Olleh up towards that dragon pit. It looks like the coverage from FlyQuest is actually pretty good towards the bottom side of that map as I say that move back. Woo! Says, oh really? Goes back, fights a little harder.
This game, LemonNation actually buys a Sightstone instead of the upgraded Ancient Coin. slowing down his goal generation a little bit, but trying to get a few more wards out. Oh, if that binding would have landed, they would have gone for Olleh.
Splits the upright. Level 6 is there as well, so might have been difficult. So Olleh gets pulled in, Tempered Fate. It always seems like with these Kalista picks, there's a safety and there's a kind of a backup to that safety with what they have. And I've been enjoying this meta.
Yeah, it allows Olleh to play so obnoxiously aggressive when Kalista is near. Knowing that he can just get ulted out. The first sign of trouble.
Going aggressive with that movement speed now, seeing Deadly Flourish is down, and every meek you can tag on, why not? Little empowered auto attack. Oh, but that's the opening. Actually thought it would be the Deadly Flourish first to see if they could get that out, and then the curtain call. Oh, hit up for high in the mid lane to fight towards the bot side, and with that pressure known, Xmithie makes himself known mid.
Yeah, pretty slow start to the game, but the flash gank from Xmithie into ult backwards means High has very little to escape with. And controlling that control ward spot too. Lemon, Gragas was on the way, so he had to flash.
Cody Sun as well was kind of playing that one quiet, farming the minions too, so Xmithie could have gotten a great hit there. Let's see what happened in mid though.
Body slam flash and ultimate. And as he was stunned, Pobelter got off all of his skill shots, so center of the Foss bomb, right on a High. Big time damage.
82-68. Ball's continuously having Flame Spitter charge just over half on his heat gauge. So he keeps multiple minion waves crashing into this turret with Flame. It's costing him a few CS each time. Surprise balls as well can pick up so much CS. For Rumble players, it seems like some of it just goes away, but he is quite good at being sure he's picking that up, whether it has to be with a quick harpoon to manage it or not.
Yeah, 88 CS at 10 for Rumble is quite high. Pretty much the highest in the game, actually. Aside from WildTurtle, just saw that one, close to 100. The bottom lane control going over to Immortals right now. Should be an easy Ocean Drake. That'll only empower their leading phase more.
Feel very nice with the sustain, as you said, that we have in that bot lane, plus around the map. More heat. It's like, yeah, Flame gets to kind of go invulnerable for a second, but the damage he's doing to Balls is not even really going through the scrap shield, I should say. Balls regens from the door and shield before it can even come through again, and Flame has to worry about the minions more so than the lane. It's got to feel good. That makes his Rumble play even stronger, because he gets to think about what to do next, what to go, where to go, I should say. How else to be a nuisance. Good binding still coming from the bot side, one after the other, and what we're seeing there from FlyQuest, I feel like tells the story of how they're going to get more catches coming through the later part of the game.
Yeah, Lemon seems to be pretty accurate with his Dark Binding so far, especially with his team composition. Dark Binding into Equalizer, into a Jarvan EQ, into a Jhin. There's a lot of things they can chain after that first CC land.
They saw that Shockwave.
Yeah, no cleanses on Immortals either this game.
Slow map control, it seems, for now. Explosive plays easily coming from level 6s around the map, but it seems like it has been held off. That only kill towards High in the mid lane. 3/4 on cooldown right now is Xmithie's flash. So you can see he's doing everything within 5 minutes here as he tries to put something else on the plate for Immortals.
Yeah, Flame's hoping to trade hard here. Here they come.
Whoa, flashed out of that damage actually from the explosive cast. He was able to answer immediately without getting stopped up.
Well, because the Equalizer didn't hit any minions, Ball's going to have to concede a lot of turret damage here until Moon comes to back him up. And even then, you have to wonder if they can win this 2v2. He's going to get the minions off for sure. Has the regen from his Dorn shield.
Yeah, they're keeping it here. I think they know they're also going to pull the pressure up for Moon. Now we'll see what actually happens on another side of the map. Bot turret is dropped for FlyQuest, as they continuously push back Cody Sun and Olleh. Even with a bit of sustain from the shrines, they're able to push through the waves and the HP bars enough to find the turret first. 13 minutes in, binding from over the wall. Remember the few ultimates, Fate's Call and Tempered's Fate, and it's gonna be the kill onto Cody Sun. Turtle, one last shot. Oh, the flash for Flash as they both go down. And now LemonNation working the auto attacks. Has the minion help? Is he gonna follow? No, he is not.
The black shield onto Turtle to avoid him from getting turned to stasis from Tempered Fate was nice. Xmithie though up top lane.
Finally bring that 2v1 situation back when Moon isn't here, and the lane is equaled out.
Xmithie had his flash, and he's 2 for 2 on kill conversions with flash body slam. That's what you like to see out of Gragas. Let's watch this 2v2 one more time. Beautiful binding from Fog. Nice black shield, but a lot of damage turned back around on a Turtle as he flashes for the kill. Makes it not as advantaged as you'd like. For what felt like an outplay from FlyQuest, they end up burning nearly as many summoners and only getting 1 for 1.
I'd say in the end, that's such a difficult matchup to look at too, to say who benefits from summoners down, because you still don't want to just run into either of them. You get locked up immediately. Still all up to the mechanics of what happens in that bot lane, and it looks like things are switching up now with the turret being down. We'll see how FlyQuest adapts now with the rest of their team heading straight top. Seems like that. Oh no, they call an audible. Kai and Moon stay mid for a second.
FlyQuest has said earlier in the split that their mid game was their weakness. Immortals have also thrived off of the mid game, so in a game that's even from early, FlyQuest will have to show improvement in one of their weaker areas if they want to take the series.
Very true.
Very hard to do against Immortals, as we mentioned, especially the package from Corki, the ultimate from Kled, the initiation of Gragas and Bard. So many map tools that Immortals can use to force fights, whereas FlyQuest doesn't have that same level of mobility, so they have to be even more crisp in the mid game to outplay. Here comes Immortals though.
Could have that TP right in the middle of the lane. Ball says, I am coming to party. And it's going to be LemonNation to knock back the first one. Balls is actually trying to just leave the fight here for a moment while the team is fighting above him. Moon goes in. WildTurtle with the shots onto Xmithie. He gets stopped up. Flame gets just that. Burned down by Balls. Olleh whacked around by Moon in the standard. And now they're after Pobelter as he tries to inch his way in and out of the fight, but can't find the damage.
What a clutch fight by FlyQuest in the mid game to take the second turret of the game and parlay it into the Rift Herald. High makes it up before Pobelter. Moon gets the kill onto the clutch marksman of Immortals and Cody Sun. That was a 4-kill swing plus turret plus most likely the Rift Herald.
Moon comes out of that with almost 2,000 gold to his name. He's sitting around 1,700. Rift Herald's about to be in his pocket as well. So that's even more global gold potentially when they want that turret. And that is going to be the mid lane turret. And they could just go there right now actually and get it. But they're going to wait to see if it can be a mid and a second tier.
Yeah, they're still going to have to go back and buy items on high as well because he hasn't recalled since that victorious fight. But they're doing their best to keep the pressure up as long as possible. Even Ocean Drake is up in 10 seconds. We're going to see this fight one more time. Immortals trying to make that play. We talked about the Kled ultimate, but Flame finds nothing because LemonNation kites up, which buys so much time. Balls then teleports in as Cody Sun dies to Jarvan, and then waits a pretty long time to get a really good equalizer onto Olleh. It allows Moon to finish him off right afterwards. High arrived with the shield on the Balls as well. Just pretty much everyone communicating very well for FlyQuest right there, knowing who they can pick off in the back of the fight, knowing where they have to save their allies.
It's kind of one of the things we used to always see from FlyQuest when they were really making waves in the spring split, was they could micromanage a fight so quickly and kind of pick out the priority threats, take them down. Here,
Flame wants to remount.
Not too difficult. They're just gonna figure out how to get on him. And Flame can't get the pocket pistol remount in. That does mean Immortals grabs Dragon with the top lane pressure from FlyQuest.
Second Ocean Drake of the game for them.
Oh.
But that's a Rift Herald on the top side. I like that Moon did not delay in trying to use it. He's gonna get at least a full charge into there, but they don't have the numbers to actually stick with it. So just half a turret there.
I always like the prep game over the trying for a 1-2, because now they have this turret prep. The big fight means mid turret as well. A huge influx of gold just waiting on the horizon here for FlyQuest. And it looks like they start to put Some of the work on that mid turret here. Moon just on the backside as well as WildTurtle.
Yeah, really close to converting on both of those turrets, but they don't have them yet. So that gold is going to stay relatively close between FlyQuest and Immortals. Pobelter really needs his Trinity Force. Cody Sun really needs his Blade of the Ruin King. Try and get back into this one because it is actually FlyQuest who have hit the big item power spikes first. Look at WildTurtle's Jhin compared to Cody Sun's Kalista, just from an item perspective. Not even close. 2 full items on Jhin.
It's actually just a purchase coming in from Cody Sun. I was going to say, how much money does he have? He has enough just to grab that Blade of the Rune King and now a bit more attack speed to keep himself very mobile and hopefully out of the hands of this FlyQuest team. His target, or the target for him, has been Moon. Continuously going on, so Cody Sun trying to stay away from that flag and drag initiation.
Yeah, same build as Xmithie for Jarvan is what Moon is going with. The Cinder Hulk and Knight's Vow. Knight's Vow most likely going on to High or WildTurtle. This Jhin pick for WildTurtle been very effective. There was the week where really FlyQuest started turning around. He got 3 player of the games, but the dive's on to Rumble.
Nice equalizer, flashes back around. Pobelter's taking quite a bit of damage, and now it's going to go on to Flame as they break that turret. He tries to get back in with the scrap shield and give Moon some time to fight under the turret, but it is the flashes coming in from FlyQuest. Immortals look to work bottom and stop everything from going too much in their favor. FlyQuest.
FlyQuest did manage to take down both turrets, but it costs both of their solo laners' lives. Most likely not worth, as Immortals can slowly weave back into this game if they can get any turret pressure. Let's see what happened here in the mid lane as the fight was happening bottom. Just another flash initiation by Xmithie. Huge damage from high, but not quite enough.
That was
the heal comes through from Cody Sun.
Summoner heal and heal shrine as well. High, knowing the damage he can do, that's the call when you hear if he had a few more people behind him, we can fight this, we can fight this.
I mean, you think about the team fights that are to come, if they have either a Jhin opening up with that type of shockwave or Jarvan to combo or equalizer down, so many things that would be able to turn that. As there is not necessarily any magic resist built up on Cody Sun or Olleh, and High's gone for that early game magic penetration build for those types of devastating shockwaves.
Up close, 500 gold for balls. He's actually quite far from that Zanya's. That's probably why they're trying to initiate on him as well, if they can get that teleport side lane down before he gets it. And he becomes basically unkillable in that 1v1. It's going to be a bit of top lane pressure. Obviously, Baron is what we're going to be dancing around for now. But just continuously clearing that top wave back and forth. And with High and the rest of the team having their mid, they keep pushing up mid quite fast, and Immortals is going to have to keep respecting that.
Yeah, 4 turrets to 0 is just creating such a map advantage for FlyQuest, not to mention the gold lead they hold to just kind of bully Immortals around. Such a stark departure from games 1 and 2 we have here in game 3. I mean, Immortals controlled the early and mid game in both games 1 and 2, and it almost felt like they would have so much momentum that this third game would swing for them, especially after what we've seen so far this year. FlyQuest sitting at 4 match wins, Immortals sitting at 9. Immortals being so dominant in the mid games.
Yeah, we saw it last time. The games themselves have gone from about a 38-minute game from FlyQuest to Immortals' 27-minute game because they took control of that mid game, and that's just 6 minutes from now. So definitely a change in the pace here throughout this series. The flag and drag gets them away, and we're back to line of scrimmage, each team on their side of the river.
Yeah, it's FlyQuest time to shine right now, though. I look at the items they've just completed, and everyone is hitting a power spike. Ardent Sensor on Morg. They have the Leandries completed by both their Orianna and their Rumble.
Package bot.
That's what Immortals are going to keep going for. They want to pick on this Rumble. Really early zonies. You want to do that with your Flame Spitter.
I said he was going to be unkillable, chat. Oh, he goes down. I did say 1v1, though, so retract my statement. Going onto the turret, Immortals. Persistence pays off. They keep going for balls, and they finally get him to go down.
Yeah, and FlyQuest unable to pull the trigger on an initiation elsewhere. That's the second time FlyQuest have been caught by that exact same gank. It's what Immortals is using to get themselves back into the game.
Actually, it works out really well that they don't have to pressure down through mid. Now they pull FlyQuest away from their mid. The rest of Immortals in mid can start to take that as this second tier takes pressure.
Pobelter still has no flash. Flame has his.
Little baby Valkyrie. But is it enough? The flag and drag just misses. High, dashing left and right. Gets himself to safety, and the question marks in mid as they aren't able to take it.
What was up with that order from Moon? It's the other way around. You EQ to force the Valk, and then you ult him afterwards.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's what you're saying.
He just let him Valk out of the Cataclysm, and then he missed his EQ. I think a misplayed gank there by Moon prevents them from picking up a kill on a Pobelter. Oh, sees him with the sweeper. Hit him! Ah, Moon!
I'm pretty sure he took that damage, too. There's that portion of damage you can take right as you're being beamed up. And they are going to go ahead and get themselves a Cloud Drake. 3 now. Immortals has completely controlled. I'm sorry, that was FlyQuest. But Immortals has completely controlled the objectives throughout these games. FlyQuest now starting to make a mark on that.
Yeah, turning into a pretty close one, though, because of the kills. FlyQuest just pulled back. Launch of balls with Rumble. You could see High there going for the one-shot onto Olleh. Olleh realized he could have fallen to it, so he flashed immediately. Heads up play by him. This Corki has become a problem, though. Pobelter getting a lot of side lane pressure.
Turrets are going to start falling very fast. LemonNation knows what happens as well once the rapid fire cannon is built. It starts to sting a little bit more, and Pobelter having a very similar game to that actually the player of the game he got on his Corki. And there's the rapid fire cannon. Actually just needed a bit more gold to get it started up. Flames now controlling the bot side. Pulls respect in from Balls. We'll see what High actually comes back with here. He's backing out of lane. Needlessly large rod, more damage.
Yeah, the next time the pack is up, don't want to see Balls dying to a turret dive from Kled and Corki, because that would be enough to even pull Immortals even in gold. But as far as the overall scheme of the game,
what if the package is enough, chat?
What if he just runs bottom lane?
What if he just goes bottom lane? The Zanya's quite early again, but he did get Bear Trap on a rope. That cooldown shouldn't be there. Equalizer comes out. He's going to have to stay and pop off a Scarl. Pocket pistol gets him to a safety. Rage! Oh! It's the captive audience not going to take him down. I actually thought Pobelter was going to get hit up there, but he's able to squeak his way out, or hover, I should say.
The exhaust from Pobelter coming in clutch. WildTurtle tried to save the day. But that Kled Corki tag team down bottom is winning the game for Immortals. Aside from that, they've been losing by about 5,000 gold.
Turret went down too. Second tier falls right as Balls is trying to actually guard that one down. Pobelter's damage though, he just cannot be able to take it. This is Immortals working that advantage. That mid-game, they try to completely light things up, and it's going to start off on LemonNation. Flashes forward, gets himself a 200 HP, burning down, tries to throw a last binding as he does fall to Olleh. Pobelter gets himself out of the Cataclysms for more shots on the outside, and they turn around to take down Balls. And now it's High. Sliver of health, walking away, falls to the ground. Double kill for Olleh in this fight. And WildTurtle's going to get the retribution kill onto that one, but they turn right onto him and crack the shell wide open. An ace for Immortals.
The 5,000 gold comeback is complete for Immortals. They find that fight while FlyQuest still didn't have everyone recovered from the fight in the bottom lane. Olleh forces hard with Tempted Fate. Everyone else piles in, and because they get the clean ace, they can turn for Baron.
Pobelter as well, getting the turret. So many things can be worked here without any pressure. Moon, Lemon are up. It's still going to take some time for the rest of the members. So Immortals have time. Go ahead back and even get back onto the map to figure out where they want to go. Let's see this again.
Yeah, you see WildTurtle still dead, Rumble on the way, so Immortals say, yes, please, we will take this fight. They get LemonNation, flashes after the body slam, the shockwave only hits Cody Sun, and then Moon goes in because he wants to burst out Pobelter, but he's a Hex-drinkered Corki. Don't quite burst him out, and because FlyQuest committed so hard without a numbers advantage, Immortals then just kind of clean up. That's the situation where FlyQuest needs to go into a full retreat knowing they don't have Rumble or Jhin. They make the over-aggressive call, think they're going to be able to turn something around.
This play right here with Cho'Gath is what put FlyQuest back into game one.
Kalista.
Immortals looking to throw it out. Olleh says, I'm going to the right. We're going to get Balls in the Tempered Fate. Moon does not want to get those javelins ripped out of him anytime soon, so he heads off to the left side. They try to separate Turtle, but they are able to separate LemonNation, giving him the quick squeeze. It's now looking like a 5,000 gold lead as Immortals start to work either mid or bot. Huge wave towards that bot side for Flame.
Yeah, total control plus a double Ocean Drake mean any poke they take, they will regen up by the time they siege the next turret. Knowing they have a 5v4, they're splitting the map as well.
Oh, they are.
Pobelter just getting all that standing gold. Remember, at one point, this was 4 turrets to 0 for FlyQuest. Immortals taken 6 in a row since then.
Yeah, there's the gold crash. It's fun to look at it. Just the up and the down. Immortals are starting to get that swing. Right now, they are bombing down that hill that is gold as it falls into their pocket. 14-7, just a few minutes over their game 2 victory here. They start to pressure the front door of FlyQuest base, and initiation onto Turtle. Remember, Lemon just came back up, so they're making sure they can get him to help Turtle, but he can't even find him in time. Flames on the backside. Here comes Xmithie with the bop coming through. Explosive cast to still be used if they need to keep the kills in range. Lemon gets drunk under the table. Olleh actually coming up with another double kill on this 6-2 and 4 Bard. As High looks to shut somebody down, going down valiantly himself as Immortals own FlyQuest base.
Riv, this could be the game. They still have Baron. They just got a 5-for-1 ace. It's just a matter of getting the minion waves to the Nexus so they can get rid of the bonus to kill him. Immortals might go for it.
Talked about the strength of that mid-game Jack.
Minion.
You got one cast of minion. If he's not focused, he was gonna say you have all the armor gone in the turret. That's gonna be the Nexus turrets going down. Immortals turn this one back around for themselves. It went 3 games, but they take it 2-1 over FlyQuest.
And it looked grim for a moment in game 3 for Immortals, but it was just that moment.
That moment, yeah.
Pobelter and Flame took over this game from the side lanes, killing Rumble time and time again, setting up the fights in the mid lane. And then Olleh came in the clutch with Bard to get the initiations in the 5v5. It's hard to remember that this was a comeback. They were down 21 minutes into this game by 5,000 gold. It was looking like FlyQuest was going to get the upset series, but when you look at the scoreboard after the fact and you see the 29-minute, 19-kill, the 8th victory, it's not going to tell the whole story because this was a very close game. But Immortals show once again why they're the first place team, because they can play from behind and get those victories.
Absolutely, and it was a different way for Immortals to have to bring this one kind of back into their favor. They can look at the other game and say, yeah, we messed up on the Baron. That's exactly, there were a few fights there. For this one, they kind of have to say, actually, why didn't we have our early game? Why did we just get back to controlling the mid game? How do we shore up the first part? For FlyQuest as well, questions to be answered, or questions to be asked, I should say. Where do they continue to go? The composition seemed to be working for them, but they're not finding the results. You almost say, you know, put your hands up in the air at that point.
They have to be asking, what the heck happened, man? They were up 5,000 gold. They had Jhin and Orianna and Jarvan. They have plenty of ways to initiate, but they didn't control the waves and they didn't keep Rumble safe. They continually got dove on that bottom side, and when 2 people were sent down bottom, they were never able to make a 4v3 play with Jhin, Jarvan, Orianna, Morg. They were just behind on the play. I mean, Immortals really did outplay them from a map play perspective because they always found a numbers advantage, and that's exactly what you need to do when you're down in gold because that's the only way you're going to win fights. They did that until the gold is even, then they found the 5v5, and I mean, expertly done by Immortals. Being down that much in the early game and still winning pre-30, very impressive.
As well, kind of making sure they could get around not having to work with the Cho'Gath or the Maokai too much within these games that could come to bite them in the butt with CLG and Dignitas on in the future here coming in for Immortals. Those are going to be tough games, and you know those teams are bringing in the Cho'Gath, bringing in the Maokai, and going for those late tanky games.
We've already seen Dardoch and Darshan willing to throw that Maokai into the top lane or the jungle. It's going to hamper Immortals in that ban phase tomorrow, but that's a hype matchup we have coming up. Number 1 versus tied for first. Winner gets sole possession of first place with only 2 weeks left in the regular season. I'm really excited for that, especially with the way Immortals finished this series.
I'm still excited to see what happens to the teams that some of them we saw at the top last time. P1's down there with Liquid. What is FlyQuest going to do as these guys all battle to get out to the bottom? Who's going to make that last spot?
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things to go on, but We are coming towards the end of our day, and to hear more about that series, let's send it over to Captain Flowers and the Immortals jungler.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. I'm here with Xmithie, who just got done with that victory over FlyQuest. And the first thing I want to ask you, the first game didn't go in your team's favor. What was the communication like in games 2 and 3, both on the Rift and between the games, to make sure that you guys were able to stay focused and come back and find the match win here?
Well, first game was just like a blunder for us. We didn't really plan ahead to later the game because our team comp was pretty short range and we pretty much get our range, and then we didn't really use our playstyle or like the comp like really well. So yeah, we just got outscaled and they played really well. And for our mindset is just usually just going game after game. It should be different. We're pretty much playing 3 best of 1. So
now, going into the last leg of summer split, regular split for 2017, what's the game plan for this team? What do you guys feel is the biggest thing that you've got to work on and the biggest focus points you have to make sure you stay at the top of the table heading towards playoffs?
well, every team has their own weaknesses, and for like maybe the first half of the split, we didn't really like strengthen it at all, and that's what we're trying to do right now. And everyone's pretty like more vocal now, and then everyone gives the right information, and then we can pretty much just breeze through the game if that happens.
So the communication for the team has been evolving over the course of the split. You guys have been getting better at not only recognizing those weaknesses, but communicating with each other about how to affect them and make it so you can turn those into strengths.
Exactly.
Good to hear. Now, speaking of turning weaknesses into strengths, you're definitely going to need all the strengths you can muster for tomorrow's match. You guys, a first-place tiebreaker between you and CLG to see who's really going to claim sole possession of that. How are you feeling going into that matchup?
Well, we try to look at every game as going to be the same. Like, even though we're going to be playing against like our rivals or just like the 10th place team or 9th place team, and like we always look at it at the same thing so that our mentality won't change. And when playoffs comes, like it's going to be a best of 5. So we're pretty much going to need all the work we can go to.
That's a fantastic mindset to stay humble and stay successful. Once again, congratulations to you and the rest of the Immortals squad. We'll look forward to seeing more of you as Summer Split continues. But for now, one last time, we're going to toss things back to the desk for the guys to break it down.
Thank you very much, Captain Flowers. Stay humble, stay successful. I like that more than stay humble, stay hungry. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd rather be successful than hungry. I don't know about
exactly,
you.
Exactly. All right. Hey, Immortals coming away with the victory, keeping themselves in that first place conversation right alongside CLG. But again, this one didn't come that easily for them. And in that discussion around the patch, it's very clear that many of our teams are undecided as to what their priority should be in Champions Select.
It does feel like a lot of teams have not had the practice on the meta picks that we expect to see moving forward here. There was the first pick, Jhin, that was coming in. Rumble's priority went up, which, I mean, we haven't seen Kled at all on 7-14. But now that Rumble's being taken early, Kled, one of the classic counters to it, you see that one start getting picked as well. So a very different draft than what you've seen so far in 7-14. But that's kind of the story of it, is that everyone's drafts are different.
Exactly. And so then, of course, we've got to talk about how the play develops. And for FlyQuest, things started off on the right foot really early on. We've got a couple kills going in their direction. 1450 rather into the game in the top lane. 4-for-1 in favor of FlyQuest. Going to take a look at this one.
Yep, they're able to find an opportunity where Immortals is trying to get a pick off on the top side, but too many of the engaged tools just miss at the beginning. The Kled ultimate goes flying by. They finally knock LemonNation back into the team, but that's just the support that you've been choking down. Finally, the teleports come in. Moon's able to get involved as well, so Turtle's already traded back a kill, and then High comes in. The ultimates start falling in favor of Immortals, given the fact that the Rumble one lands as opposed to the Kled one, and they just are able to get a 4-for-1 here up in the top side. Luckily enough, this wasn't a late game one, because sometimes people lose a skirmish in the top side and they give up a Baron and completely lose control of the game. Immortals did have the lead at that point. That equaled it out for a little bit before they finally got their hands back in the lead.
And we saw disappointed faces on the FlyQuest members there at the end of the game, and I have to believe that that's because all of them believe this series was entirely winnable. Again, there were multiple comeback victories here for Immortals, and a player like High, who in his history, or rather in his career, has been so successful with leads, has been so successful with closing out games, it's a different look for them to struggle this way.
And that's the kind of scary thing, because we were talking about, oh, well, maybe they'll lose early games. And that kind of happened again here, where Immortals made a couple nice ganks and plays and things like that. But then they did find that team fight, and they did get back into a position where they had some things working for them. And right after that, Immortals bounces back. They find 2 scrappy kills. And it feels like they just were not able to deal with some of this side lane pressure that came in as the Kled started to get more and more more online.
Very much so. 26-30 into the game is where Immortals finally turns it fully into their favor. They get the ace here.
And it's nice to see the aggression coming out of Immortals. Despite that failed attempt on the top side, they keep it up. They go on to LemonNation once again here, but they have more people in the right position. So Olleh's off on the flank, constantly hitting people. And the Kled finally gets involved in the fight, jumps right onto high. And at this point, they finally get their frontline members to CC a critical backline target. That was the problem in the last fight, was that they had kited out for so long. You know, Turtle was able to run all the way away. This is just a chase down where he has the Jhin, not able to get away from a Kled too easily without any help.
Yeah, that's helpless at that point. Here we have FlyQuest, you see there, the lead that they had established up to about 4.5K at that 20-minute mark. Trails all the way down to a 10K gold lead in favor of Immortals at the conclusion of only a 30-minute game. So kind of wild to think that they're able to mount a comeback again as quickly as they did, but it kind of speaks to some degree. We've talked about the snowballiness of this patch and this meta. It seems that with some more tanks and playmakers in those support positions, once teams have leads, it's much easier for them to push them forward.
That's definitely the case, where when you have so many engaged tools, you can just keep forcing action. And especially around the inner turrets, before you get completed to the base ones, you can get people picked off very easily. And then it's a combination of a lot of things. Like, there's not too many strong line wave clear champions right now. Like, the Victor is not super prevalent right now. Azir is something that's not that common. So you end up with a Corki and an Orianna who are reasonable, but against a Baron up minion wave, they don't cut through it that easily.
Absolutely. Player of the game going to go over to Olleh this time around, basically because what? He kill-stealed everybody on the map.
Hey, if a support gets the most kills on the map, they're getting player of the game. I appreciate the bloodthirstiness.
Look, I love it. I love how much more supports are in the spotlight during this summer split as compared to the spring split, where it was all about the shielding and playing backseat to everyone else.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is you saw that big replay that gave them their Baron, and the ace was off the back of Olleh's engage, was able to land the Bard ultimate, and giving them those tools to really shine as players is something that I think everyone enjoys watching.
Exactly. Even players like Matt today, getting threshed both times, being instrumental in their victories to get another 2-0 series and the 2-0 for the weekend for Team Liquid. Either way, Immortals holding on to first place here, tied up with CLG. Now, with our matches wrapped up, let's go ahead and take a look at the standings. Our top three have become a top two, as Immortals and Counterlogic Gaming are tied for first, while TSM drops to third, just one game ahead of Team Dignitas in fourth. Down at the bottom of the standings, Team Liquid's 2-0 week have bumped them up to ninth, only a half a game behind EchoFox and FlyQuest in seventh. So there's still plenty of room for them to shuffle around. We'll see how the rankings further shape up with our matches tomorrow. Our coverage kicks off on LCS 1 with Team Dignitas hoping to extend their current win streak against Cloud9. Then Counterlogic Gaming and Immortals rematch for another battle for first. Spotlight on that one. We'll return to that in just a moment. Over on LCS 2, TSM take to the Battle Theater versus EchoFox. Then Lyra and Team Envy face Moon and FlyQuest later in the day. With that Immortals CLG matchup, Mark, what are your thoughts?
I gotta look at, just who looks the best on 7-14 right now, because I think it's a very volatile kind of situation that we're in. And I liked what I saw out of CLG. They had the Maokai priority. They were able to flex it between top and jungle. They had a lot of tricky things that they're able to use, as well as the fact that they already looked good on the previous patch. And a lot of people are still using, a lot of the priority picks from 7-13.
And it's very clear that, as you discussed earlier in the day, kind of the mini metas that can be established in scrims. We had Immortals, for example, in one game going for that Kalista Kennen, not even seeing glimpses of that in CLG's play. So once again, watching these two teams clash and develop throughout the three-game series when it comes to champion select, you got some very smart coaches, some very smart players on both sides. I'm excited to see what they come out with.
That's the big thing, I think, is the coaches have a lot of influence over the game right now, just with the difference in the picks, the difference with the level 1 choices in terms of what you give your junglers to start with. These crazy leashes and paths are unlocked. You can set some really nice early game plans to kind of give your team that bonus if you're really thinking ahead as a coach.
All right, well, those big matchups come tomorrow, but for tonight, I'm going to say good night, I guess. Now, for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew, thank you for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more North American LCS. Good night.
Yeah, you got to get that last one.
Team Dignitas come into this match after a very convincing 2-0 week 6. And it doesn't help that TSM are looking the strongest they have all split and only seem to be going further up. Staying alive, Haunter getting himself back, but now gets burned. The hook back onto Adrian, but the stun coming out from Keen will shut down Bjergsen. And in from behind, the cavalry has arrived. And a double kill for Altec as Double Lift is now grounded out and shut down. Since Scarron cannot escape, and Bjergsen will be the last man to fall as Dignitas
2 zeros TSM. Away, looping here,
Oh,
but
he gets all
full
four.
Dust gets everybody else's dash on Leapsin, and Keith just explodes. Looper gonna go down next. That's the third kill.
Oh no! It's a massacre in the bot lane.
To save it up, but he's just getting locked up. Dardoch just assassinates Keith as he dives into the backline, gets a double kill as he slays Meganar, just so strong. The speedrun is complete. CLG with the sweep.
If we really want to make sure we go to Worlds, or we really want to go to playoffs and keep playing this season, then we need to win these games, and we really can win these games.
Rumble. We're fine, we're fine. We can fight. Tipping over. Can we? Yeah, I'm on Talia. Talia, please, Talia.
Our team fight's actually got now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll win this game.
Wild cards find their target, one after the other. We said it was going to be one big ending game fight. FlyQuest makes it 2. Lemon gets drunk under the table. Olleh actually coming up with another double kill on this 6-2 and 4 Bard. The Immortals turn this one back around.
Lee Sin, no flash.
Fight slow.
As slow as possible.
Slow as possible. The most slow possible way, okay?
Flash an arrow, they could die this
Oh, he's dead. Bolu's gonna slam Empyrean dies as well. It's just a massacre in the mid lane. And Team Liquid sweep the weekend.
GG, too easy.